Hello and welcome to Psychology Live. I'm Dr. Gail Majcher and with me is Mary DiPaolo, limited licensed psychologist. And today we are going to continue our discussion on codependency. But one thing we do want to mention is if you want to contact us, just do it right there on YouTube. And
Right.
you can. We realize now we're getting messages that way from people. Well, the one other thing it's probably worth mentioning is Facebook.
Okay. Facebook Live. I mean, Psychology Live on Facebook. Boy, that'd be kind of cool if we invented Facebook Live. Facebook Live with Dr. Gail and Mary D. All right, so codependency. We talked last week, so be sure to watch that session about the codependent giver mode mentality, whatever you want to call it.
It was a good session.
It was a good one.
It was.
Now we're going to talk about the codependent taker mode. And listen, we're all givers and we're all takers, so that's a given. You know,
To varying degrees.
To varying degrees. We talked about how with the giver, the motive for giving is seeking the approval, acceptance, and love of others. Now, what do you think it would be for the codependent taker? What's their motive for taking? Power, pleasure, and or the avoidance of responsibility. Of course it is. And if the codependent giver is over-responsible, guess what the codependent taker is? Under-responsible.
I think it's really hard for people to understand that because when you hear about codependency, most people know it's people who give too much, who are very accommodating, loving, to a fault. They give too much, they anticipate other people's needs too much, So when you talk about the codependent taker, I think that's kind of confusing, but it is a term. It's like the antithesis of the codependent giver is the taker.
Let's give you some examples.
Okay.
Personal
ones?
Well, we got a million of them. A shout out to all the women in the world who have one brother. Okie dokie. And isn't it funny how your parents gave your brother everything and didn't give you SH double hockey sticks or whatever you want to call it? I mean, this can be a cultural phenomenon. I happen to be of Eastern European extraction. You know, the culture where men rule and women drool, like that. Well, I have a million examples of, adult children, female, who had one male sibling.
I think it was very common from our generation that parents really focused on the male child. A lot of them had come over from Europe and there was something about those male children. I don't know if that's as common now in this generation, but it certainly was common when we were growing up. So go ahead with your story.
Well, and so the thing about the taking is, these boys, as they're growing up, don't know what's going on. They just know that they get a lot for not doing much. And so they like it. They get used to it, of course. And the story I always give is, if a little boy comes home from school and the mom says right away, what do you want? A peanut butter cookie, an Oreo cookie, or a chocolate chip cookie? And what do you want? Milk, juice, or pop? If the kid says, I don't want any of it, I'm not hungry or thirsty. Listen, you got to take something. What do you want? And then eventually the kid gets used to getting a cookie after school and a drink after school, and it becomes a pattern.
So you take that child who grows up, and they're not always male, it could be male or female,
Sure.
But that child grows up, gets into a relationship. Guess what kind of person he's going to choose? He's going to choose the codependent giver. So the giver gives in that relationship, and the taker takes in that relationship.
Yes.
And neither one of them are fully aware of the dynamic between them. But the codependent giver knows that they're feeling burned out after a period of time, and anger and hurt starts to build up. And when the giver finally confronts the taker's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And many times it's because exactly what Mary said, these takers have been conditioned from childhood on that they should have this sense of expectancy. People should give to them. To them, that's just the way life is. You give to me. And they are notorious for finding those partners who give too much.
Right. And the thing about taking, when you think of it this way too, in terms of what their motive for taking is, I mean, who doesn't want to avoid responsibility in the natural realm? I mean, if somebody's offering to do something for me, like, hey, I'll clean your house, I'll be like, fine, thank you very much. Because do I want to clean it? Hell no. So I'm going to, accept whatever offers I get in that regard. And the thing is that if you don't check yourself before you wreck yourself, you can become very easily more under-responsible, more in your way being controlled, because, you know, people are volunteering themselves to help you this way and that way, so why not?
And they don't recognize that they should also be giving. To them, this is just life. They have that sense of entitlement where you should give to me. So, of course, you should give to me. I think if somebody offered actually to clean your house, you'd say, well, wait, I'll help you, or something. You know, there would be a give and take of it, because that would be a more normal relationship. But what happens are there's the givers and then there's those takers. And those takers don't even get that they're takers. Because to them, that is just life.
Right.
They're entitled. You should give to me. And what? You think I should give back? No. You should give to me.
Right. And so just like the codependent giver is struggling with over-responsibility, being controlling, although they think they're being controlled, and doesn't see reality as it truly is, but the way they want to see it, that's also true for the codependent taker. They're under-responsible. They feel they're being controlled, but really they're very controlling, and they don't see reality as it truly is. So, of course, these two people will get together, and it can become like a major mess of a relationship because, you know, in essence, the on blast codependent taker gets into all kind of stuff. It could be any one of a number of vices in order to feel that power and pleasure. They definitely can experience the power when they know that they're kind of, you know, pulling the strings on the givers in their life, the codependent givers in their life.
But many times the takers aren't even aware of it. Just like the givers aren't aware that they're giving too much, those takers have this grandiose sense of self that this is the way life is.
Right.
You just give it to me. And then if I want someone over here to give to me, well, they should give to me too, and over here. And there is not thought to the giver.
Right. And the example I have of that, you've reminded me of it, which is so true. You know, I can guarantee you, when I was a little kid, I was not cute, little, and, you know, just smiling, thinking. No, but you know that whole bit about.
In fact, I've seen pictures of.
Oh yeah, right. No, but you know how you have these women that you meet in life, and they are cute, and they are little, and they are sweet, and they say, "Hey." There's a whole codependent taker mentality that can go on there, which is basically this: "Hey, I'm being polite. I'm asking you for what I want. And you should just give it to me because, you know, I'm smiling at you, and I'm cute, and I'm this, and I'm that. So give me what I want, right?" Do you know how much level of frustration I've seen with clients who struggle with that? Like, I don't understand. Like you're saying, they're completely unaware of how their taker status as a codependent should be interrupted. You know, when they want something, they really should get it. And when they don't get it, it's like, well, what's going on? I mean, I'm used to getting what I want.
It's like, very confusing for them. And they can feel hurt. Well, the thing that I've noticed with the takers is they have a very hard time identifying their feelings. So if you say to them, why do you keep taking? Why don't you share in the responsibility? It's almost like they can't compute it, like you're talking a foreign language. Like, what are you talking about? And
remember, they were taught fundamental incompetence. What do you mean I need a job? Well, I don't need a job. I do what I do. I'm good. I'm an artiste, or, you know, whatever it is that they're into.
So therefore, there's so much frustration around those people who are the takers, because you may just want to have an equal relationship, and it can be a spouse, a child, an adult child, a friend, a parent, whatever. You're just trying to have a normal relationship, and you don't get to have that because of their sense of entitlement.
Right.
And they are not going to give back to you, nor care about your feelings.
One of the very common dynamics between the giver and taker, and I'm going to use the example of a parent and their adult child who has never really moved out of the house.
There's so many of those right now.
The deal that they strike without saying it directly to each other, the parent says, if you never leave me, I'll give you whatever you want. And for the taker, the codependent taker, they're thinking, oh, this is great. I don't have to worry about this, that, blah, 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 and I'll get whatever I want. when what they've done is given up their own life.
That's right.
And the freedom to have their own life in order to make it easy on themselves. Are you kidding me?
That's what it boils down to. Life is just easy. I'll stay with mom. She'll cook. She'll clean. I don't have to pay anything. This is great. No, it's not great.
It's not.
You cannot have a full life when you're a taker like that.
Right.
We will probably continue talking about codependency, but we're at the end now. We're so grateful that you are watching. And please send us your questions because we love to get to read them, and we will get to them and answer them. But goodbye for this time.
Bye.